right, welcome back, everybody, for another episode of the Wednesday Watch List. This is my weekly look at all the new books coming out this new Comic Book Wednesday, May 1st, 2024. This might be a very light week. There's not a ton coming out, at least not from what I can see that I personally find interesting. So it might be a light week on the wallets, which is always good to mix in every once in a while. Hopefully you're enjoying this series as well as everything else here on the channel. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure that you like, you subscribe, you hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. And yeah, also make sure you check out the link below for the free Whatnot sign up. If you haven't tried it before, this is your opportunity to get a free $15 on me to try it out. No obligations beyond that. Just get your free $15, spend it on anything you want with anyone you want. And you'll be helping out the channel. So with that all said, if you want to see this week's books, just make sure you hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back. All right, so let's get right into it and check out my picks for the week. Now, these are some of the books that are already selling for a bit of a premium. Some of the things that I just personally find interesting that I'm just giving you my recommendation and check it out. So with that all said, the first bit is basically going to be something with my recommendation that you check out because I'm looking forward to it. We had Jack on a few weeks ago talking about Blood Hunt, and I'm excited. I'm excited. I know it's vampires in the Marvel Universe, but I'm really curious to see where they go with this and how far they take this, considering they're adding this red band option here with I guess more blood and gore. So we'll see what happens. But bottom line is, I'm curious to see where this storyline and this event goes. So I'm all in to check out Blood Hunt 1 coming out finally this Wednesday. Multiple covers, as you might expect on this. This is the cover A. There are other options here as far as open order variants that you can get from the, you got the blade eating the logo there, which is kind of cool. I think that might even be a Stormbreaker cover there. And then we got a JTC doing one of his negative space covers if you want old school style blade. That's also kind of fun. I think that's a wraparound there on the left. And then even Peach Momoko has given us a variant as well with a little bit of a, I don't know how Vision would be a vampire, but hey, it is what it is. With that all said, there are incentive variants, obviously, that you can get. So keep an eye out for your 1 in 10s and your 1 in 25s and your, this is another open order variant in the middle. I'm sorry. The one in the middle is open order. That is the art term. The reason why I put it there is because there is a virgin version, as you might expect. As you also see, there's a virgin version of the 1 in 10, which is the Delato and a connecting cover. So much like some of the other variant incentives they've done, like I think with the Venomverse stuff, they're giving us a 1 in 10 from Delato and a 1 in 50, which we will see here, which is the virgin version of it. That is also the connecting. I'm sorry, it's a 1 in 100. Even worse. So 1 in 10 or the 1 in 100, get what you like. And then there's that 1 in 200 for the art term, which I'm sure a lot of collectors will go chasing, even though I just get the regular one. There's no sense paying that kind of premium for a tiny bit of trade dress being removed. I get it. It might be rarer, but it's just probably not worth your money to do so. So do what you like, but in keeping an eye on it and seeing what's going to happen this week, especially with a light week like this, anything can happen with some of these variants that may usually not sell that well because, well, people with those big wallets and those big budgets have nothing else to spend their money on. Because again, there's not a lot of options this week. So let's take a look at what the 1 in 200 is already doing. As yes, there's some pre-sales right at ratio, which again, for something that high is actually impressive for them to be getting $200. And then we look at some of the asking prices, $230, $200, $250. That's more in line of what we might expect the asks to be, but more sales will probably hit more closer to that 150 or even under. But then you look, there's a $500 one down there too. So who knows where this is going to end up or what might actually sell as the week goes on, but it's worth keeping an eye on. And as I mentioned at the front there, they are doing the red band version. So this is going to be more blood and stuff, explicit content, reader discretion advised. I believe it's going to be polybag like this. Kind of fun. I'm going to look for this one. I think it's $1. It's $1 extra. So I think the regular is $4.99. I think it's going to be a $5.99 cost. I'll pay the extra $1 to see what's going on inside. As well as they're giving a special incentive just for the red band, which is also kind of interesting. So I might want to keep an eye on this because it's got a number of things going for it. There, it's a 1 in 25 on the red band version only, and it's a classic homage cover. So here we are, the Blood Hunt one, the red band trailer, Thor decapitated, much like that crime suspense stories. What is it, 22? So it's this one's going to be popular, I'm sure. So keeping an eye on it and seeing where it's already starting off. This is already pre-selling in the 55, 60, $70 range with matching asks from auction starting at 49 bucks, and then some buy it nows at 65 and $80 for a 1 in 25. So tread carefully, obviously, but this is a pretty cool cover. I did order one, and I think I paid a little over the 1 in 25 ratio to get one too, just because I liked it and I just wanted it. So sometimes you spend a little extra when you get something that you want. But if you're talking about investing, flipping, only if you get this for cheap, would I recommend you going and getting it, because after a week or so, this might be quickly forgotten about. So just get it if you want it. But again, I worry about anyone investing in new books these days, because a lot of these things, they're in fashion one week and forgotten very quickly. That's not always the case, but that is more often the case than not. So just again, watch your own wallet. With that said, this is not the only Marvel big series, I guess we might call it, starting off the summer. We are also getting more excitement for Deadpool and Wolverine. So they're giving us a new Deadpool and Wolverine, crossover comic with World War III here. Much to be expected. I mean, we're getting the movie. This is going to get people hyped for the movie, and it's just another, cash grab from Marvel. Throw out a haphazard story, probably. I don't know if this is going to be any good. We'll see. Joe Kelly, I will give him the benefit of the doubt and see where this one goes, but I'm not expecting a ton out of this. But multiple covers, as you might expect. Here's the cover A. There is a Delato. There's a Liefeld, if you really want to get that. I didn't want to bother doing a WTF section this week just for that one cover. It's not great. You can see that it's not great just by looking at that Liefeld. It's just the anatomy just doesn't make sense. Again, just like always, like you go from the big bubble chest and Cap to what happened to his chest. Like his chest is inverted into his rib cage. It doesn't, and then he's leaned over, and I don't know. It is what it is. And I'm also tired of these windows. Todd Knock doing these window things with the blinds and I don't get it. It's kind of weird, a little bit pervy to be peeking in the window and we're seeing characters. So I don't know. It's not for me, but there's that option too if you want to go and buy that one. With that, there are a couple of incentives. You can get yourself a 1 in 25 or a virgin version of that Delato for a 1 in 100. Both aren't bad. I actually like the 1 in 25, but there's gonna be a ton of these out there. So prices are already at half ratio at best. Like I think you can pick it up for like 10 to 15 bucks if you want to. But the 1 in 100, we'll see how this does over the week. But again, I'm not expecting much. We have sales under the 1 in 100 ratio at 85 bucks, and then some a little bit above at about 110. Meanwhile, asks are anywhere from like 120 to 250 right now. That's ask. That doesn't mean they're going to get that. We'll see what they actually get as the week goes on. This is pre-sale after all. So pre-sales are just a gauge on where the market might go, but not always a telltale sign of what's going to happen, because all you need is a couple of people to pay a crazy amount of money before a book comes out, and it looks like it's hotter than it actually is, because then when copies actually hit stores and are in people's hands, there are no more buyers. So it's great that those 2 or 3 guys out there wanted to spend 250, 200 bucks on a 1 in 100 incentive, and then that's it. Like the market's satisfied with that, because that was all the one really wanted it. So you got to be careful. Don't always rely on pre-sales. It's a temperature gauge. It's a tester, gives you a sense of what may happen, but we got to see how it plays out when the week goes on. Now, with that said, looking forward to Blood Hunt. I'm going to check out this World War III, but I'm really curious about Ennis giving us this. This is Get Fury, Garth Ennis, Punisher, Nick Fury. Looks like a Vietnam story. You know how Garth Ennis loves writing war stories, so this is probably going to be quite entertaining. I'm looking forward to reading this and checking this out. I almost just put this in just the reading section. Could have put it in the new number ones, because it is a new number one. It is an explicit content book. It looks like they're also bringing back Max Comics in some fashion. So I'm curious. And you got a pretty cool, ASM 129 homage here on the cover A. Couple other covers as options as well. With the Punisher and another Punisher there, and you got Nick Fury in the background. Oh, I'm sorry, Nick Fury and then a Punisher there. Sorry, easy to confuse, but gonna be a fun run, I think. There is a 1 in 25. It's not doing much, but if you're curious, you can go out there and get it. but it just looks like any old cover. It's nothing to have that like grab to you. They really missed an opportunity to give you something really cool on that incentive, and it might have actually caused a stir on the market. But this I can see easily being forgotten about. With that said, also of note, we got baited and switched with that teaser in the preview saying how we're getting new champions in issue 6. Well, now it looks like we'll actually get the new champions in issue 7. Meanwhile, they're only giving us basically a cover A and a cover B. There is another cover, but it is not an incentive. We'll get to that in a later segment. But this is all you got. So if you want to check out these new champions, see where the storyline's going, 7 seems to be where they're actually going to appear, where they were just really just teased at the end of issue 6. I can't even say that was a cameo appearance because it was a poster. It wasn't even any of the characters. So that was really crappy of them to do, to sell that book like, hey, she runs into the new champions. No, she didn't. She didn't. If you read it, if you actually read comics, you'll see not always what people sell it as is what happens in the actual book. So be careful. So hopefully we actually see some of these characters in issue 7 that they've been promising to introduce. But with that said, let's get on to my reading list. As you guys know, I try to keep a pretty well-rounded reading list. I'm always open to suggestions. So if there's books I should be reading, please tell me in the comments down below. I will give it a look-see. I've been reading a few new things that I normally wouldn't have recently. I've been checking out Barbaric because people told me how good it was, and I do enjoy it so far. So anything, it doesn't even have to be brand new for me to check out. I'm always up to check out new stories and new books if you think it's worth my time and your time. With that said, what do we got? We still got Incredible Hulk rolling on. I'm still enjoying this series, so Incredible Hulk is still on my reading list to put at the top of the pile when I get it. Looking forward to it, every month. So Philip Kennedy Johnson still doing a good job with this take on Hulk, in my opinion. Not a lot of covers, which I also like. We got the cover A, and basically we got a B cover and a third, which we'll get into again when that segment rolls around. Tying into Blood Hunt, we're getting a Moon Knight story. This is issue 5 of Vengeance of Moon Knight, I believe. And this has been a good series and a good run for so far. What Jed McKay has been doing with the character. Man, we all know who the new Moon Knight is now, but let's see where this storyline is going to take us. Again, a couple of covers here. Option with the Stormbreaker, the cover A, and there is actually a 1 in 25 by Noto, which I know it says not final cover, but I think that's what the cover will basically look like. It's not bad. So you got Tigra, Hunter's Moon action there. Not too bad, but it's not selling for anything. So if you want to get it, you can basically get it for ratio or less. So help yourself. It is probably one of the favorite cover of the group, but what are you going to do? Up next, this one I have begrudgingly moved this to my read pile. Mostly because I've read the first 2. Not really liked either, but for some reason, they got me hooked to keep reading these. I don't know what it is. I know some of you guys out there like it, and you're trying to defend it, and I'm taking that into consideration, saying, you know what? You're kind of right. Like, I may say it's not the greatest story, it's a little cliched here or there, but Weapon, X-Men, this tale of all these different Wolverines being thrown together, I'm still curious where they're going, even though the storyline hasn't given us much to go on yet. But that curiosity still has me picking it up and wanting to flip through and read this every month. So I got to be honest then. It's on the reading pile because I want to know where the hell we're going with this story. Cover A, a couple of other covers here aren't too bad, including the almost like the old school X-Men from X-Men 97, which is, again, big hit right now. Kind of like that cover. Any of these covers, they're all about equal in my opinion. I mean, that Petaccio is a little shaky with some of the faces, but yeah. What are you gonna do? That said, X-Books still waiting for this run to end. Gonna keep riding it until it does. So Fall of the House of X, it's still falling. This is just the regular X-Men title here, issue 34. We'll see how this all is gonna wrap up over the next few months, because it's still wrapping up. Multiple covers, including the Hildebrandt, and then we got one of those X-Men cards, which are kind of fun, but I really prefer the cards themselves that Jim Lee did. Dauterman's doing an all right job kind of remaking them in a sense, but I don't know. It just seems like a waste of effort at this point. Like, I don't know. It's just Marvel gets stuck in these ideas. They're doing action figure cover after action figure cover, these trading cards after trading cards. It's just sometimes just let it go. Just let the gimmick go. Like, we don't need to keep doing this. So realistically, it's a cover A. Like, you don't need the other ones here. There is an incentive. You can get a 1 in 50 version of the Hildebrandt, but I don't know. The Shadow Cat's just not for me. It's a weird long stride that she's going. He's like, who walks like this? Like, I get it. She's walking through the wall, but why is she taking such a long step? She's not running. You can see she's kind of posing. So why is she taking such a big step? Just looks awkward. But whatever. Again, these things work better when they're on trading cards and they're this size. It loses some of its interest when you put it comic book size, at least to me. Mentioning Barbaric, the reason why I wanted to start catching up on Barbaric is because we're getting a new series from Vault, starting up. Is Born in Blood is kicking off this week. Now, some places is listed at cover price, but other places listed as free because I know Vault does these weird things. Well, they'll let you have a free copy, and then some of the incentives aren't really incentives; they're just more expensive copies. So this is the cover A, and then there's also cover B here that you can go. That's basically kind of that cover price. It's like $5 cost, but then some of the others are more expensive. So be careful when you're going and picking them up because make sure you note what it's going to cost you just because you like a cover. As you can see here, I think there's a $20 one, there's a $50 one, and a $30 one. And then there is also a virgin version of that, $50. That is a whopping $100 version. So it's $100 right at the outset. So I mean, it's kind of like a 1-100, but it's not. And then this other one that's like $20, which is really my favorite. I don't know, something about it. It looks like, a manga, some just anime title. I dig it. I dig the art. I like the cover. I like the way that it's laid out. It's very simple with a white background. And yeah, I think it's cool. So regardless of there's not many out there or many selling. I don't know what this might do on the market. I'm just saying this is my pick because it's one of my favorite covers of the week. That's all. I know it's not for everybody, but I like it. So as I made it my pick. Also, I'm going to try out something. I don't know if you noticed it dropped earlier today. I'm going to do shorts if you guys like them. Just basically my top 5 covers of the week. Just things that I like. Just going to run through them as a quick little short and send them to music and throw it out there and see if you guys like checking it out. As you might guess, this one's in there because it's one of my favorites of the week. With that said, I think I got one more book that I really want to check out this week. It's Distillery. I've tried to read all of them, but I can't. I mean, I just can't afford to shell out like the bigger bucks you have to for these because the years are more expensive. They're oversized. They're like prestige format, almost mag sized. But I like a good western. And Azzarello and Rizzo, they've done quality work in the past, so I trust the creators here, and I assume that we're going to get a good story out of the Blood Brothers' mother. I don't know. So haven't had a good western in a while. So looking forward to checking this one out. Cover A, there are other covers here as well, B, C's, other options for you, and there are even incentives if you want to go the incentive route with 1 in 10, 1 in 25s, and even 1 in 50s. A lot of these also are like wraparound covers too, so it gets a much larger image, but I'm not going to get into all that. Get which one you like if you want to check this out too. And the last book that's on my reading list. I don't know if you guys remember, we had in our chat and we had checked out this Blowtorch book way back on the tax show. I think it's Albert Page. I can't remember. I think that's who the creator was. Good dude. Chatted with him on IG. I'd forgotten about this, and I see there's a new one shot coming out. So I'm gonna pull this and give this a try because I like the 90s action kind of vibe that the other series had. So I'll give this a shot. So I'm gonna put it in my read pile and give it a go. So yeah, like I said, support those independent creators. With that, plus this is the new number one. It's a one shot, so it's the only one, but the new number one, which will take us into also our new number one section. So I like to do. Not a ton this week. Here's another reason why it's a light week. DC, for whatever reason, is treating this like a 5th week, even though it's May 1st, which to me is the first week of the month, not the last week of the month. So, but I'm also forgetting that DC comes out on Tuesday. So in theory, they're right. It is really April 30th for them. But we all know New Comic Wednesday is the day. Come on, DC. Get back on Wednesdays with everybody else. Stop being weird and contrarian and doing the Tuesday drops. It was fun for a while, but really, come on. Just come to Wednesday. Do the schedule right. With that said, since it is the 5th week, their April 30th drops, DC is giving us a lot of annuals and one-shots. So that's another reason why it's a lighter week than normal. So we're getting DC Spring Breakout. It's $10 if you want to get this anthology story. I don't know if I really feel like shelling out $10 for this thing. No incentive. This is the cover A. I do kind of like the Dan Mora here with Harley. Just playing baseball, giving you a wink. It's a solid cover. And then Batman with a bat. No pun intended. But yeah, so there's the C cover. But at $10, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. I know sometimes these anthologies are kind of fun because you do get a lot of pages for your money. So if you want to give it a try, go for it. I might flip through it and see if there's enough interesting looking stories in there, but no guarantees. But if I do, I'll probably get the Harley because I like that one. With that said, annuals, as I mentioned, Flash 2024 annual. It's got a cover A and it's got a cover B. No incentives. That's the story for all of these annuals. Not that we're getting a ton, but we're getting a couple. So we're getting Flash. We are also getting Harley. So we got a cover A, and then we got a cover B. Don't really love either of these, to be honest. They're okay, but I don't know, just meh, just kind of meh. Same kind of feeling for Nightwing. Nightwing's also giving us a cover A. The cover B's all right, but the Matinas, they're all really starting to feel the same, like with the Batmans and the Nightwings here. So I don't know, those kind of have the same like flavor. So take it or leave it. Uh, and then I think finally it's not an annual, but it is a one shot. This House of Brainiac special. There's just a cover A, and then I believe there's a shiny foil version, which be more of a virgin cover or limited trade dress version. So get which one you like. You like it shiny. You want to pay the extra buck or two. Have at it. On top of that, we had the preview Ashcan come out not that long ago, and it caused a little bit of a stir. But we are finally getting Space Ghost. I also like this cover. I believe this is the Matina. And then there's a Bjorn Barons, as well as a couple other covers by Jay Lee. Yeah, there's the Barons and the Jay Lee. And then there's a Michael Cho, which is also kind of cool. And then there's a design cover. And then we got a sketch cover. Then there's since it's Dynamite, there's other versions of all these covers. But these are the basic start points for most. And then you might get some slight variations of Virgins and trade, black and whites and whatnot. Incentives, it's Dynamite. Way too many versions, way too many options. Those are the basic ones. Get which one you like. I don't know. I kind of like just the cover A the most, I think. I like a lot of these, but I can only buy so much. Can only buy so much. With that said, Dark Horse is giving us this Lester of the Lesser Gods mini starting. Issue 1 of 3. This is Eric Powell of Goon fame. Apparently he did some like animated short or something about this like unknown god or lesser known god. It's sort of a comedy. So could be kind of fun. Could be kind of curious. See where this goes. Only 2 covers on this one here. There's a cover A and there's also a cover B. But might give this a shot. Plus, he's writing it and with Lucky Yates, who worked on Archer. Big fan of Archer. So could be funny. Could be good. Like I said, I might give this a test run. Another one I might give a test run here as a new number 1 is this Bear Pirate Viking Queen. I don't know. I'm just kind of intrigued by the thought of this title and the setup. It's something about who will run the world. Would be bears, pirates, Vikings, or queens? I don't really get it. Don't really know exactly how this will play out, but I'm intrigued enough to get this. So I'm probably going to check this out. Only cover for it. Love that too. I only got 1 cover to worry about buying. So I'm into this. Plus, that bear looks pretty badass. So I kind of like this cover in addition to all that. So we'll see where this one, how this one is. We are also getting another mini starting called the Whisper Queen, a Black Sand Tale. This is a follow-up mini that's part of the, was it the White Tree? I think that's what it was. It was like a 2-issue, kind of a fantasy tale that came out a while back. I gotta go and reread that, go check that out again because I don't remember the whole thing. I just need a quick refresher. And luckily, we will be getting a refresher offered to us when we get to the later print section. But for now, Chip Zdarsky, Chris Anka giving us this start to a new mini. A couple of covers here, A, B, and a C. Pick the one that you like. Check this out. I'm going to give it a go. And like I said, I got to give a reread to I think it's White Tree. I think it's the White Tree, not White Sand. It's Black Sand Tale, but I think the story was the White Tree. And I think it was like 2 issues. But anyway, with that said, we're finally getting this Nassau universe beginning, this crossover event. Remember we mentioned it before. There was that one-shot issue that's introducing you to biker mice from Mars, sectars, all these offshoot weird properties that Nassel, this company, has. And the first one we're getting is RoboForce. So I know Marco wanted to do something with RoboForce. I don't know if we're going to do it this week or not. I'm going to run it by him and see. I don't really remember these too much. They were just like weird little robots. So I wasn't really that into them. But yeah, it's kind of an odd collectible. But we'll see what they're doing. They're remaking it and making them more like not silly looking, not like little square R2D2 looking things, more like fighting robots. So we'll see if this newer take is more receptive to audiences. But RoboForce #1, multiple covers here. B cover, then there's a new toy line coming out too. As you can see here, it's a toy cover for one of the new toys they're releasing. And then we've got a Virgin 1 in 10, and then a homage to Giant Size X-Men 1 on the 1 in 20, which is also kind of fun. Yeah, if you're into that. Neither are doing much on the pre-sale market, but they're there if you want them. I think even that 1 in 20, I saw one sell for $10. So if I get that for $10, I might pay $10 for that. I don't think I'd go 20 though, but that's just me. And then another title I saw coming out is this Toxic Summer out of Oni. Something about the party, and then there's monsters, and I don't know. Mildly intrigued, but enough with these multiple covers here as well. With cover A and the B's and C's, and we got a sketch cover, and then we got some Virgin versions, and then we also got a Francavilla and a Francavilla sketch. So 1 in 10s, 1 in 20s, 1 in 30s. Who knows? But Monster Tales Summer Party could be kind of fun. Might give it a flip through and see if it's any good. And again, this is a very light week, so this is definitely not going to be an hour show. We're already up to later prints, and there's not a lot here either. So I don't even have any 1 in 25s to complain about this week. We are getting, as I was noting, this collected edition for the White Tree. All right, the White Trees collection issues 1 and 2. So if you missed out on it, I think it's $6. You get the first 2 issues there collected, so you can catch up and get into that Whisper Queen story as well. Kind of cool. If you missed out on Helen of Windhorn, you're getting a second print for issue 1. I like this story. I'm into it. So I'm going to keep reading this. This is Tom King, after all, done pretty well. I like Bilquis Evely's art. I don't know. I like this series. I like this story. I'm kind of curious where it's going to go. And yeah, if you missed out on it, second print is helpful. If you haven't been reading this, do yourself a service and go and pick these up. Cobra Commander is getting a third print. Kind of like this cover too. You got Globulus in the background and Cobra Commander. I know the pose is kind of weird. It's almost got a Metal Gear Solid kind of vibe, but I dig that. So I know others might complain and say it looks ugly, but I like that kind of style. So I'm into it. Duke #3 is getting a second print. So you get Major Blood on the cover. Thankfully, they're only giving us the one. They're not overdoing it again with giving us a Joe version and a Cobra version. More into this. This makes more sense. So second print, if you missed out, also great read, great series. That one just wrapped up. Cobra Commander should be wrapping up soon before we get the new ones. Skybound still giving us these later prints. Here we go. Yet another Transformers 1. I don't know who doesn't have a copy of this by now and who hasn't read this by now, but here's a 6th printing for you if you somehow missed out. A little bit misleading with the Megatron on the cover, but at this point, all bets are off. So yes, a 6th printing. And for all you Void Rival fans or even Void Rival haters, I can see why you might be annoyed because they keep giving us even more. 8th printing. 8 printings on #1. No #2, but #3 is getting its 5th. And if you missed out on #4, you're getting your 4th shot at it. And the same thing for #5, a 4th printing. I guess these are necessary if you guys didn't get these already, but yeah, it's just kind of tiresome to keep running down these printings. It's like, when are they going to stop? Just buy the trade paperback and just be done with it. Come on. Oh, but not to be outdone, Marvel's also sticking up and getting in on this action because somehow, if you haven't read Ultimate Spider-Man 1, here's your 5th printing option. Yep, 5th printing there as well. Thankfully, no incentive. We dodged a bullet there. Marvel, however, is starting a new variant series for this month. As we all know, it's a celebration event for Marvel Comics and for Secret Wars and for the Black Suit Spider-Man. So I guess as part of the Black Suit Spider-Man celebration, we're getting some black costume variants. They're not symbiotes, just black costume variants on a bunch of Marvel titles. That's just what I gather this is for. So X-Men 34, pretty cool Noto. It's Rogue in a black suit. Never seen her wear anything like this before, but yeah. So 40 years of the Black Suit Spider-Man celebration. Uh, so we're getting black costumes on everybody, including the Hulk. Told you there was another variant. The Hulk. Yeah, nice DNA. A little bit of purple, and the bright green kind of takes away from it. Doesn't really seem like it's a black costume variant. It just seems like he's wearing a onesie, like Braun or the Totally Awesome Hulk did for a stretch. So I don't know. But get it if you like it. Same with Thor, whose costume already has a good deal of black to begin with, but yeah, cross him over with Magneto, and we got a little bit of a black costume Thor. Looks like Black Winter. And Peach Momoko's giving us a Spider Woman black suit. I mean, all right. And again, a lot of her costumes have been a lot of black to begin with. We just take that red out, and looks like she's wearing Spidey's costume. Cool. Yeah, get it if you like them. And Iron Man, which looks like War Machine, but different. Mix them with the 2020 armor, give him the weird gears and the shoulder blades and a bleeding sun. I don't know what's going on here, but there you go, a black suit, invincible Iron Man as well. If you need it, if you like it, go for it. I don't know. I'm just gonna kind of let this one go. Not even gonna do shorts for these ones because I'm just not that into it. The vampire covers were kind of cool, so I did shorts for those. These, yeah, I don't really care. Again, personal preference. And to be honest, I've already covered basically everything this week. It's a very light week. A lot of free comic book day stuff, but I'm not putting that stuff in here. Get the free comic book day stuff you like. The boys already did a show on it a week or so ago, so check out that qualified show on free comic book day if you haven't already. They give you a nice little preview. Because Marco and I decided we weren't going to do it this year. I think last year we did a tier list, but just didn't feel like running through those this year. So boys already covered it. Here's a couple of covers. And basically, the only title I put in this cover section because I like all three is this Godzilla book. I just kind of like this Godzilla War for Humanity #5. Just the three covers. They just, I don't know, something weird and catchy about them. Cover A, the cover B, as well as the 1 in 10. They're all kind of weird and bright and unique in their own way. It's kind of like them. That's all. Just kind of dig it. Not selling for anything, so it's not pricey or anything. You can get the 1 in 10 for a few bucks over the regular cover price because it's 1 in 10. But just saying. And our last section for the week is the cheesecake covers, and even here, very light week for this as well. There's just not a lot going on. Not a lot going on. That's why Marvel heavy at the front, because Marvel's the only one really giving us anything with the Blood Hunt and the Deadpool stuff. But here we go with a couple of books. If you're into the cheesecake covers, I even had to stretch for some of these. I mean, this Trident of Aurelia, the Storm. Apparently, this is a popular writer, giving us some kind of adult. I don't say adult like it's you know unsuitable for everybody, but just more of a grown-up take on mermaids, I guess. Two covers, cover A, and there is a cover B. If you're into them, you know, okay. I mean, kind of cool. And then outside of that, I got some Grim Fairy Tales for you. Pinup special. Grim Fairy Tales presents 2024 May the 4th cosplay pinup special. Basically, this is some cosplay Star Wars covers. These I can see being pretty popular as Star Wars collectors or Star Wars collectors and people who like cheesecake covers. They collect their covers. You mix the two together. Sometimes you get some hits and you get some things that people will want to buy. This Han Solo, not too bad. Mix it in with the other options here with a Queen Amidala in the middle. You got a Chewbacca and we got a Jango Fett. Yeah, going off that color scheme, I think it's Jango. It's not Bo-Katan because that wouldn't make sense. They wouldn't have to. But yeah, so there's your options, 4 covers. And then if you really want There is a 1 in 20 of the Amidala in the middle, what's a little bit naughtier than the regular one here. So, boom, 1 in 20 if you feel like spending that extra cash. Not going to be many of those out there. Not many of these find their ways out into the market because there's not a ton of collectors for them. But if you like collecting them, buy what you like. So that's it. Told you it's a light week. Not a ton going on. Few things I definitely want to read, but no big variants or things that's like, wow, this is gonna be a must-have. I'm telling you, it's that Blood Hunt, the Blood Hunt R-rated or Red Band 1 in 25 is probably the safest bet of a book that's going to be still selling for above ratio as the week rolls on. In my opinion, from my experience, that's what it looks like. It's going to be the book that does the best this week. So if you can find it for cheap at your shop, go ahead and grab it. And with that said, thank you for all the support and for checking this out. I appreciate you all. Got more content coming your way as often as I can get it out there. And make sure you come back tomorrow for the tax show. I'll try to get another dollar bin digging out this Thursday, the qualified and the hot 10 on Friday, SNS on Saturday, Tales from the Dark Side on Sunday. And then we start it all over, on Mondays. Oh, I guess I should let you know. Yes, so tomorrow, the Tuesday, which has been my rotating show spot, I will be doing a Chasing Ghost for you. I know you guys like the Chasing Ghosts, so I got a new Chasing Ghost for you. I'll do a couple of more hidden gem covers and a couple of the future firsts, future fight first. You'll see. We got a couple of books to go over. And with that all said, I'll see y'all later. Some more content. All right. Bye.